a lot of, mansions we go into, for the oracle circles or private settings, they have this kind of dirty kind of vibe, Hollywood kind of dirty type vibe, and it's just not because they didn't do wealth proper. It's nothing wrong with wealth, but they didn't do it properly. So this is an interesting topic, guys. It's called religion recovery, or it's an impact session, by the way. It's unveiling the truth, why you left your religion behind. And it's really all about, why religion didn't work out, or why money or success didn't work out. So in the future, we'll have success, people who are highly successful, but, again, success destroyed them and destroyed their families. In this case, religion or success or love, for example, is supposed to say enhance us. It's supposed to magnify who we are, but then why doesn't it? Right? Why has it destroyed us? I mean, we hear it all over the news. It's like, gosh, I have troubles. You see these Jesus signs, Christian signs, thinking of suicide, you're depressed, go read the Bible, embrace your religion. And then there's so many people that I actually work with that need religion recovery. It's uh, it is very, very, say, abusive. And you look at religion, and not to knock any religion down, but just to push the religions to come back to its, say, original state. That's what's really, really important. Again, I'm not knocking any religion down, but you have to ask. You can't say, you can't follow blindly. It's really, really important, religion. And if you read the books, any scriptures, I don't know about some of the spiritual settings, but just on the religion side, if you read any of the books, the real books on it, Muslim culture, Buddhist, Jewish, it always says don't follow blindly. But then, we follow the pastors, we follow the mullahs, and they're just people, and over thousands of years, people tend to not understand or become exponentially intelligent as they go into their religion. So they get lost, right? They're not having, say, the best time. They're kind of lost. So they follow their religion. And then they would go, well, this religion is not working for me. Something's going on, right? Recovering Jehovah Witness there. Yeah. It's interesting. Over the past, say, month or so, I've had a lot of recovering Jehovah Witnesses. Kind of interesting. Literally over a dozen or so that just come out of the woodwork somehow. Anyway, back to the religions. Obviously, there's some religions that say aren't the best. They're fake religions. The other religions, though, that have been iconic, from great men or great women. Actually, there's a few really old religions from what I'm seeing that have, say, dropped out off season, so to speak. Those were started by like a woman prophet, from what I'm seeing. But this is way back in the day. But now, there's a lot of, again, the main three, Muhammad, Buddha, Jesus. Again, their teachings, you'd have to ask is like, well, why did it work for them? Somebody's telling me, Moss, you look so young. Oh, thank you for that. We'll talk about that because that's what religion is supposed to do, by the way. Keep you youthful, keep you young, keep you closer to God, right? That's what they say at least, but then they don't. It doesn't. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Again, those men, those great men, right? They had fantastic lives. They had amazing abilities, fantastic abilities. But why don't most people, right, that follow those religions, they should start getting the same results? So so is it the people following the religion that becomes very destructive, or is it the religion that's turned into, say, a control feature? Okay. Which one do you think it is? Again, comment in, guys. uh, and again, guys, by the way, thanks for watching. Please like this video, share it with your family and friends, your enemies maybe. kind of wake them up. So which one do you think it is? Do you think it's the people following the religion, or do you think that are doing it wrong? Because that's what the religion says. It's like, well, shit, you're not getting the results you need. You need to go to church more. You need to pray not 5 times a day, 10 times a day, damn it. Then you'll get it right, right? And then the people who tried the religion, like these lovely people that we're going to bring on the impact sessions, they go, gosh, I've done everything I can. Why didn't the religion work out for me? Why doesn't it work out overall? And if you look at the religions, and again, this is where I said I'm not knocking down any religion, but each main religion, and I could go down the list. There's thousands of religions, but obviously I won't, just because of time. But the main religions, like Christianity, there's a lot of centers for abused young men. Unfortunately, in that religion, there's a lot of help centers for the priests that abuse the men. I mean, literally centers, throughout the U.S. You don't hear any news about it, but if that religion was so pure and clean, again, I'm not saying the pure religion. The pure religion is fantastic, but why has it been really, really distorted in that sense, right? Again, you have to ask those types of questions. Shit, if it didn't work for them, if it didn't really work for them, then how's it going to work for the common folk? How is it going to work for those individuals who haven't studied the Bible, who haven't gone to, whatever they go through? What do they go through? The priests go through. They go through some, what is it? Yeah, when they become ordained, they go through some, I don't know, biblical classes and all that stuff, and then they abuse kids and all that. It's like shit, And I'm not saying all of them, but quite a few number, right? Statistically high. Just that I won't get into that. The Muslim religion, they're very controlling, and again, it's not really the religion that happens, but how the Muslim religion has been distorted. Again, it's not Muhammad's words, but how, say, the mullahs have distorted it, and this is where the women get chastised. Women, if they show their ankle skin or whatever, they get destroyed. Again, that's not the way the religion is. And it's interesting, those people, for example, those individuals who are Muslim, they chastise the women. But like I said before, if you're getting, say, aroused by just looking at just mere flesh of a woman, and it's destructive, which is really destructive, by the way. Seminary. Thanks, Billy. Um, they what happens is that why should the women get chastised and abused and punished and disciplined? It should be the person looking at that woman in the incorrect way, right? Because your actions can be controlled, right? But then what are you thinking about, say, women in your head? So if you can't control those things, then your religion is fucked up. I'm sorry, you are fucking up your religion and vice versa. Okay, literally, you're not doing it right. Okay? You should be of clean heart, clean mind when you look at women in that way. So it's not a disciplinary action for either, but I would take it as a disciplinary action for, say, the man that can't handle the visual of a beautiful woman. Same thing in Buddhist culture as well. You're supposed to stay away from Buddhism. In fact, there's one school or lots of schools of Buddhism that, in order for you not to get tempted by the mere flesh, especially of women, it's the other way around as well, by the way. You're supposed to think of them as grotesque, right? Which is really against God's, say, idea or God's concept, because why would God create, say, grotesqueness in human form, the highest form, closest to the angel? In fact, above the angels in many religions, the main three, right? They talk about, humans are above the angels, but then you're supposed to be thinking of them as grotesque, and you're supposed to abuse them. And not to get into too much detail, in many religions, women who have their cycles and so on. And again, this isn't just about women, guys. But these are the things that are kind of popping up, and maybe a lot of the folks that I'm going to be scanning are women here, and I see why they'd be suffering from it. But again, yep. So you've got all those standards and recognitions, and really defying, you know, say God's work. Literally, it took billions of years to create, say, such a brilliance in human form, and then it's like, well, they're dirty. They shouldn't be this beautiful. They shouldn't. It's like, holy shit, instead of honoring God's work, which you should, and all religions do say that in the book, right? You should honor God's work, but then you really don't. It literally destroys the fabric. And I don't have much time, but we'll just talk about the Jewish religion as well. Why not? What the hell? Just throw that in there, right? The Jewish religion is like, what the hell did you guys sign up for? I mean, you're the chosen people, but Jesus Christ, what did you choose? Why are you chosen? Were you chosen to save the planet, save the earth? You would never be treated like that. It's not like the military where they go, honor, honor, you protect your country, and then you come back and then they don't do anything about it, right? They chew you up, spit you out. Again, that's the military. So the Jewish religion, are you supposed to be chewed up and then spit out? God would never do that. God has honor for you. If you were supposed to be chosen to be the individuals that would say save this kingdom, then you would have, say, a light. You would have a presence, and maybe that's true, but all those religions have destroyed themselves at some level. Okay, so again, I'm pushing a lot of you. Okay, especially those who are new to this channel, and again, we've got thousands and thousands of new people, so thank you for that. Okay, uh, but again, all the religions have been destroyed or distorted, and it's up to you all, okay, studying the religions, because you just can't have blind faith, especially in nowadays. You can't have blind faith in anything, and that's where you question the book that you're reading, because those books have been rewritten so many times over the years, right? Over thousands of years, it gets really destroyed or distorted or watered down, right? So again, it's up to you, all say the people teaching the religions. It's up to you to make sure that it stays clean, pristine, not destructive, and then make sure that you are of ethical or honorable value to teach other people. And then for those individuals who have just been destroyed by religion, again, you can step away from the religion, but what was it in you that allowed that religion to abuse and destroy you? That's the thing that you really have to ask, right? Because anything can like enhance you in the XI world, exponential intelligence world. So that's the key. So ask yourselves those questions. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll get into the impact sessions on, say, religion recovery, why these individuals need some religion recovery, some religious help, moving away from their patterns, and then also clarifying or defining more on how we can, say, see our religions. This isn't about walking away from your religions, like many people say, but actually seeing and understanding those religions in a proper way. All right, so we'll go one on one. We'll first go to Carrie. Where is Carrie here?
Hi there.
Hi, Carrie. Where are you? Oh, there. Where? I don't see Carrie. Why don't I see Carrie? How are you? There you are. Sorry about that.
Good, thank you.
Good. All right, Carrie. So have I worked on you before or anything like that?
I've
Oh,
gone through a few 18 days, including Zach and
okay.
Emmy's,
Oh,
and I've
awesome.
done a few of the a la carte
Mhm.
things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Zach and I mean, she's talking about my kids, daughter and son, and they do frequency work. So quite amazing, by the way. Very, very different frequencies, by the way. So Carrie, tell me about your religious escapade, I guess, and the recovery, and or I could just read you either way. whichever way. And I'll tell you why, say, the religion didn't really work out for you. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm into metaphysics. So instead of saying let's say you're part of a group like Catholics and you would say this is what we believe.
Mhm.
With metaphysics, people sort of choose what beliefs they have.
Yeah.
And so I was in a community that I thought was supportive and loving, and
Mm.
something happened to me in 2005,
Okay.
and it kind of I just really I'm here to disconnect from the humiliation, the suffering, the patterns, whatever patterns were amplified through
Mhm.
that, particularly around my weight. So when this happened, I'd been a vegetarian for 5 years,
Mhm.
and then about a week after, I started binging on meat. If you can imagine how disgusting that would be for a vegetarian. So yeah,
Sure. Take a breath in, huh? Just notice your head area. So, Carrie, you have a tendency to be, say, consumed or absorbed by groups or group thought or group think. Does that make sense to you? You would be one of those individuals that would be, say, at a soccer stadium, and then all of a sudden the crowd rushes the field, for example. That's not just one person literally going in and starting, say, the riot or anything like that. If you see riots, if you see anything like that, it's actually a mastermind that creates. So it's any mastermind, for example. Take a breath in, Carrie. And anybody else watching, by the way, if you have of similar patterns of Carrie, especially, I'll be working on you. So it's not just these individuals. I'll be working on you as a group, even if you're listening to this as a recording. Okay, so take a breath in. So overall, from what I'm seeing is that you get stuck into the group think and you lose your identity completely. Okay, so you basically get forced into being somebody else. Does that make sense for you? So whether, and then you got into, say, groups of metaphysics, and again, you're right, metaphysics, they start creating their own. Metaphysics is a kind of an offset from what I'm seeing of alchemy, okay, where they start to do, say, magic or arts or practice things of that nature. Again, type alchemy types. To do that, they would have to, say, control outside sources or outside frequencies. Back in the day, these are like real alchemists or real metaphysical people. Okay, so in your case, the group that you connected with, they had no abilities, they had no consciousness or no connection to a higher form. They just like created, say, a presence or an essence that they are of this special person because they operate under these, say, tenets or these rules of the religion. Does that make sense to you? That's what gives them
yeah,
power. Okay. So
yeah,
when, say, a minister, I am, say, a minister, I'm ordained as a minister, their power does not come from, say, the essence of God. Their power comes from, again, the title. Same thing with wealthy people. I'm a billionaire. You're still, fucked up and broken, right? So this again is the same thing. So the importance of that is that take a breath in. In your group, though, that mastermind, like I was saying, that mastermind over the time has created, say, a presence, almost like a, say, Wiccan or witch type frequency, the group that you've joined, by the way. And that's what controls you. That mastermind that gets controlled or gets created starts to, again, suck the life out of you. Okay. And they need people like you, unfortunately, to feed the system, feed the animal that they've raised. Does that make sense to you, by the way?
yes,
Okay.
especially about the groups, and
Yeah,
getting caught up in them. I knew something was happening, but I didn't know what it was.
exactly. By the way, you've had two relationships?
Two major ones, yeah.
Yeah, two major ones. So each one on when you were in it, in those relationships, they would suck the life out of you and you'd be controlled. Does that make sense
Yep,
to you?
yep.
So again, is it like religious recovery, or is it, okay, what is it in me, what is it in us, that allows me to get, say, sucked in and then controlled by a source, right? So, and that's the key, that I'm working on, so you take back your natural right. And through the 18 days that you've done now, what's called human reset, that actually starts on April 5th, by the way. All right. So again, if you're listening to this, the 18 days, what used to be called the 18 days is now human reset, which starts on April. Okay. Which is really fun. So that would be really good for you, Carrie, by the way. But the key is like, let's separate you, because as you ascend higher, or as you say, want to accumulate your abilities or gifts or use your intuition, you're not only going to have people on the physical plane say, try to consume or destroy you or control you. You're going to run into, say, other frequencies. And I think you've kind of might have run into them when you were in your teenage days. Um, from what I'm seeing, 12, 13, 14. Did you get into states, by the way, or different? Did you see other realms, or do you escape into other realms, or was there a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
fear for you?
An
Okay.
escapist. Yeah.
Escapes. Yep. So again, really nice abilities, but then when you escape into those realms and you're not controlling those realms will control you, by the way. Get it? So again, it's about you getting. So when I see you overall, Carrie, and what I was doing for you, by the way, is you literally you have your identity here, and then something stronger or someone stronger just like literally pulls you out of your body, your identity. And then what happens is that, you're supposed to be, say, right on, like together, integrated, but then other people just keep pulling you out, or other things. And then you get further away, and then this is where you feel like you're losing your life. You feel like literally something's being taken away from you, again, your essence or your breath, so to speak. And then the further you go, and what you've done is like, shit, this is way too far. Something's going on. And then you break apart from the group, and then you reclaim yourself. Does that make sense? So
Yep.
in this session, can I just lock you in?
Yeah.
So you can't separate yourself from
Yeah,
yourself?
that would be great.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. So in this, again, I'll lock you in, and this is where you learn to expand into the possibilities of where you are. And this is where you again do connections to other sources properly. Okay. Take a breath in. Notice your gut, your belly button. There we go. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Let's just close up all the weird things that you've gotten into as well. About 10 of them. Uh, One, two, three, four. How do you feel, by the way?
I feel like I can feel you working on me.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
So, yeah. And again, it's not me. It's actually you resetting, coming into yourself. Although I'm doing it, I'm helping you do it with you. But what you're feeling, again, is not my energy or my presence. It's you coming into yourself. Okay. Wonderful.
Will it help me lose weight? Can I
Once you have
focus
an
more?
identity,
Yeah.
yes, because your
Okay.
weight gain issues and so on like that, is because no, I want to stay here. I want to stay solid. I don't want to be abused. So you use your
Okay.
weight to stay here. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're so welcome. We'll go to Holly and then Bito.
Hello,
Hey, Holly, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Anything special that you? What were your parents like, hon?
Well, I actually did make some notes about them
Okay.
in a
Yeah. And okay.
in a yeah. I just thought it'd be helpful maybe as well for people listening. So I
Yeah.
originally said, yeah.
Go ahead.
Um,
Quickly.
so
Mhm.
I'll be quick and concise.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage, big self-sabotage, big for me, minimally and largely,
Mhm.
across relationships, finance, codependence, and control.
Yeah.
Raised in my biological white Jewish family whose identity was disrupted slash distorted. So
Mhm.
I experienced the disruption of that
Mhm.
alongside me leftover Jewish ideals with a black identity on top,
Mhm.
creating two concurrent identities of black and white without that having been stabilized in the past. And my black biological family, I think, very, very Catholic or at least Christian, self disdain, for religion on my Jewish side and a reverence for religion on the Catholic side. My
Mhm.
mum, she won't mind me mentioning because she's also does some frequency work. I don't
Yeah.
think she will. Thank you, Mum. Mum wasn't married and had a mixed race child. She married my father after I was
Um,
born, or whichever. She experienced loads of shame. She
yeah.
experiences poor health because she's been hammered, I've written, but we are taking back control. And also my family, my white family, I don't get on with them, sadly. I do love them very much. Would like to
Mhm.
build my relationship in a better way. And I
Mhm.
think we were like, don't mention we're Jewish. So this is like a big deal. But I'm like, we're Jewish.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Got it. Take a breath in. So, Holly, when I see you again, the reason why I asked about your parents, well, that's one of them. The other reason is that they have really, really deep cult type beliefs. So,
Yeah.
and correct me if I'm wrong. So whether you're the Catholic type and again, you got married into a white family, or your mom was dark, or what's the deal?
No, my mum is white, so pale, blue eyes, white blonde hair. My dad is very black. So
Okay, got it. Okay, so it's the other way
yeah,
around. Got it.
yeah,
Take a breath in. Well, let's take the benefits of all that, of the cultures, the two cultures. I mean, you're beautiful, but then you also inherited twice, say, the distortions of the culture. That makes sense, and that's why you're so um, even the way you're writing, it's like my black family, my white family, my Jewish, my Catholic family. And it's really nice that you've say organized it and detailed it in that sense, because what that tells me is that okay, I see that okay, my white family, I see that they're Jewish, they're this and they're that. Those are the things that I do not want as part of me. So you've distinguished or you've created really strong boundaries around yourself. Does that make sense to you?
yeah.
And then and then the Catholic side as well. It's like, okay, there's a lot of darkness in the Catholic side and so on like that. So it's like, gosh, I don't want to be that part either. So what you did was you kept your, say, initial handbook on, say, how humans should operate, which is really, really nice. Okay. But the key is that you didn't your upbringing didn't allow you to expand into those possibilities. Like many children, they feel the grandness of who they are. They have a great identity of who they are. But then by the year about age 7, they get destroyed, right? And they get consumed by, say, the concepts of their religions or their familial values. Which is really cool, Holly, it's like as a child, I see your purity, and it's like, gosh, this is really cool. I love this space. I love humanity. I love the world. I love the possibilities. But then the two just like kept pushing in and kept pushing in and kept pushing in. So I see by about I want to say around 10, 11, 12, 13, you're
Yes.
on like crushed. That makes sense to you? Yeah, does it feel like a crushing feeling?
Yeah, it was one day I woke up and it was like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah, that's so cool. What you've done is frequencies literally are, say, objects. Okay, we just can't see them, and they're real. In fact, they create the physicalness, the reality that you experience every day. What you've done, again, you basically created this shell around you. Again, this is me, and I'm going to keep that pure state. But what's happening is all these things, society's values, friendships and all that, not just the two sides, not just the religions, but everything about them, just keep crushing you because you don't know how to say expand into that possibility. I don't know how old you are, but you look younger than your age.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
32.
yeah. And you're socially, say, younger than your age as well. Because
Mm-hmm.
for you to maintain that purity, okay, that cleanliness, so to speak, or connected to your original human form of what humans should be, which religions should perpetuate that. Obviously, it hasn't. It's like, no, that's not going to help me. Those religions aren't going to help me the way they teach it. So what you've done again is been crushed. So in this scenario, as I was working on you, it's like, let's help you rise above the rubble or the garbage that's around you. That's like literally compressing you. Okay. Let's allow that push to turn you into, say, a diamond, because that's what we can use, right? It's literally a compression field, so you can clean yourself and void yourself of, say, for example, even say the diseases of what you've ever inherited from your family, how you age, how society ages. So all those things that, how old are you, by the way, can I ask?
Yeah, I'm 32.
32. Yeah. Like I said, you look very young because, you look like you're in your early 20s, right?
Yeah,
Which is good. The good side is, again, let's take the best out of your cultures, the integrated cultures. Let's take, say, the best out of, say, slowing time down, okay, because that does distort you. It's like through time, you wade through time. So what that means for you, life, you have to push extra hard. Take a deep breath in to get some of the things that you wanted to do, or get or accomplish some of the things that you want. Does that make sense? It all boils
100%.
down to this. I am this individual here and I want to stay pure. But then, like I said, overall, and you've kept that, so you carry this, say, burden of purity with you, or cleanliness, or again, your higher self. So in this case, what I was doing is like, wait a second, let's make that seedling of a young child grow into a strong young, say, tree concept of who you are. Does that make sense to you? And then when you're a
Yeah,
solid tree, nothing can, say, destroy you, by the way, right?
amazing.
And then you turn all those you turn all those, say, negative comments about the religion that you've learned, back in the day. You turn all the negative aspects of your family, turn into like really deep, say, fertile soil for
Great.
yourself. And this is where you accelerate your growth and you come into a strong 32-year-old, but then a sense of playfulness or youthfulness still exists in you. Does that make sense? So you get the best of both worlds. So that's the frequency that I was helping you with, is like you get the best of, say, all things around you rather than destroying you. Does that make sense? For
Yeah,
you as well, the audience. But I said, yes, I am working on all of you as I work on this. Take a deep breath in. This is where you also, say, take back your identity of who you are without like forcing your identity on people. By the way, okay, you just are. All right. How are you feeling, by the way?
yeah, I feel good. A little bit sick.
Yeah, nice job. Yeah, you feel a lot lighter. So we'll go to Bito and then to Sophia, and then we'll get to you all, where we'll scan you. All right. Bito, hey buddy, how's it going?
Hi, Mas. I'm good. How are you?
Good. So tell me about your, say, religious wreck, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, I mean, so I've grown up in a Protestant culture, and sometimes it feels like this Protestantism is, yeah, kind of inhibiting my pursuit of more of my own creativity, my own spirit,
Hmm?
and also, yeah, I've also grown up in a very academic environment. I still work in academia, so in that sense, I've been shaped, yeah, by
Hmm?
the religion of science in a way.
Sure.
And yeah, I love science. Um, but sometimes it feels like when we reflect on sort of the big questions of science, that we're actually kind of impeded by some of the more conservative dogmas within science itself.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm interested here to
Hmm?
explore sort of, yeah, consciousness more broadly. Yeah,
Oh,
so thank
beautiful.
you.
Oh, really beautiful. And Bito, you're the type of those individuals that would really benefit from exponential intelligence, because it's literally science of what people call spirituality. It's like right now science and and religion is divided. But if you study, say, nature, again, the work of, say, not a godhead, I would call it pure source. That's where we get started to get destroyed, because science, take a breath in, by the way. So science, science has its own definition, basically another religion. It doesn't mix well with, say, the religion or the concepts of religion, because science, the current sciences of today, they don't go as deep as understanding why things work. And the understanding is basically frequencies. That's what exponential intelligence science is about, the science of frequencies, the core or the origin of how this reality is created. And if you see if you look at the science, especially the quantum side of physics and science, it literally talks about the frequencies, the origin of, say, how all this mass got created. Like the Big Bang theory. How did it just like create just out of nothing? Right? Those are the origin of frequencies, by the way, but they won't see it that way. I was also reading about. Take a breath in and just notice your head, by the way. I was also reading about consciousness, and they go, well, consciousness is in the brain. It's these little tubules. No, it's not. It's outside your brain. It's a frequency outside it. And again, in XI, we cover all the details on how, realities work, how consciousness works, and, all that, which is really cool. And it makes a lot of sense, by the way. And you can test it out over and over again. Take a breath in. So the problem with you, or the problem that you have, is that, from your family, I see a very like rigid frequency for you. I don't know if, especially your mom, very, very rigid. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
uh, or very, very disciplined. She could be nice, she could be bad, but anyway, very, very like stoic almost. Or again, this is who I am, and again, she doesn't move from that position, that identity. Does that make sense to you? Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So she would say, blame that, or because I am was it Protestant? Because I'm Protestant, I need to be this way. So
Yeah, I think because she's not sort of an active believer, but I think it's very much the culture, sort of the
culture.
work ethic, the discipline of Protestantism that's also shaped her. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, you grow up in it, even if you don't say practice the religion, you've been married in it for so long. The the dogmas of society, that's basically based on religious values. Even if you're, a scientist or an atheist, being a good person, I'm a good person, although I don't believe in God, I'm a good person. People say that I'm atheist, although I believe in, the equality of men and women and all that. So their definitions, even when they're atheist, is literally brought upon the definitions from religious values, and that's where it messes you up, uh, Beto. So what happens is that you, kind of like, who was it? Holly. Yeah, Holly. You start to see the brilliance of all possibilities, because that's what you're about. You want to know the truth, or seek, what's really there. But you're being split in two. So you have a pattern of being separated or split in two. That makes sense for you. Did you try to please your mom in a certain way and then your dad in another way?
That would make sense in that they're quite different. And the
Yeah.
separation, yeah, it on the
Yeah.
one hand, yeah, this is a bit this discipline thing that I think I've done a lot of things in life through sort of willpower and discipline, and now
Yep.
I'm trying to explore more the intuitive side in a sense,
Yep.
or intuitive knowledge.
Take a breath in. So for you, Beto, what's happening is that when you're with mom, for example, it's like, oh, I'll be this Beto, this version, and there's nothing wrong with that. When you become, with your dad, you're another version of who you are. That's the problem. Does that make sense? You didn't integrate the two versions and be Beto. You literally created, say, separate identities of yourself for that. And this is where you'll always get into situations is like science, religion. This even with relationships, it's like, shit, should I go with this relationship or not go in a relationship, or should I go with this relationship? So that no matter what choice you have, it like separates you because you want both. So you get into situations that you'll have to make a hard choice every time. Does that
Interesting.
make sense?
Um, yeah, partly. I mean, I'm still processing it, but yeah, thanks.
You're torn between my words.
Yeah, exactly. Two
Like,
hard
yeah, but what about
interpretations.
this? Again, do you see that pattern running? No matter
Yeah, I
what
think so.
I
I think so. Yeah.
say, you would always think two versions of it. No matter what I say. If I say the sky is blue, you would come up with, say, an argument. Well, it's like, well, it could be blue, sure, but what color blue? Or it's like, not always because it's cloudy or whatever. You know what I mean? It'll be that kind.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
And maybe
Yeah.
sometimes your friends take a breath in. Sometimes you're just like, well, because um, even with your friends, it's like, well, you're always like arguing, kind of not arguing, but trying to find the underlying reasons for things. So it kind of pushes your friends, basically, from what I'm seeing. Um, take a breath in. So in this scenario, why can't you have the best of both worlds in one? Why do you have to choose? Um, religion is really a great opportunity for science to, say, expand on its possibilities and create, say, a new pathway of discovery, right? So it can ascend higher. Science is a great opportunity for religion to understand, say, the workings of, say, God, if you want to call it, or the workings of billions of years of, say, evolution. It wasn't just like random circumstance. There was a mechanism that created this sort of process, or as we call evolution, right? So they could learn from both. So for you, you could learn both from your mom and your dad. Again, you didn't have to separate. You just had to expand, say, your identity of who you are to include both mom and dad's versions. Does that make sense to you? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't a separation, it was an integration. And this is where you can learn from all sides and all aspects, by the way.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah. Take a breath in. Just notice your spine. I don't know if you have skeletal issues, but seems like your family has skeletal issues from what I'm seeing. I'm not a doctor in any way, but I see skeletal issues in your family. Um, or yeah, um, as they age, their bones start to harden or shrink a lot more than usual. So that makes sense for you?
Interesting. I'm not, yeah, I'm not sure, but could be. Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other questions as we end, my friend?
No, I think that's it. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Oh, one last question, Peter. How new are you to XI?
Yeah, completely new.
Okay.
So
So
thanks for
I
having me.
totally thought so.
It's a
No,
very
absolutely.
nice experience.
That's so cool. So, and the reason why I ask a lot of you, well, it's like you'll ask all those questions, well, because your old belief system, again, it's not just you, Vito, but your old belief system, you've held on to it, for as long as you're around, right? And then I'm showing you a whole different belief system, a whole different concept that is outside of, say, society's norms. Hence, a lot of, say, those great inventors or men or women who have, say, transformed the world, they bring in a new consciousness or a total new idea or new concept that is very against the norm of societies. Hence, for example, the Earth not being the center of the universe. People got, beheaded for that shit. Nowadays, it's like, well, of course, it's not the center of the universe. So I'm just saying that overall, Beto, you have this idea or concept of self because you're new. But then once you start to listen to more like Moss on Sundays, you start to do the 18 days or even the universal power, frequencies. What happens is like, oh, I start to get it, and you'll start to see the truth in a lot of the things that you believed in, but then you also let go of the lies that you believed in as well that have kept you distorted or separated. Okay. Again, if your life is not working out, might as well try something different, right? Why question it? Just try it out. That's all right. We'll go
Yeah,
to
great.
Sophia.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, my friend. We'll go to Sophia and then to Christine.
Hello.
Hey, Sophia, how are you?
Good. Happy to be here.
Thanks. Happy to have you here, hon. Take a breath in. Is somebody in your family having lung issues, hon? Respiratory issues?
Yes, very much so.
Is
My
it
dad.
you or
No,
is
my
it
dad. My dad very strongly.
okay? Um, um, how old is he? 50s, 60s, 70s?
Yeah, 60s. Yeah, mid 60s.
Okay.
Also heart issues together with the lung.
Yeah. So for you, just off the chart, when I read frequency, so basically there's a grid that I see for those, wonder, I'm not a psychic or anything like that. Psychics are very different than XI abilities. So when I see you, Sophia, is like there's a grid system that creates your body, your identity. Part of that grid system that is created by you is actually you integrate other people's burdens and wounds.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to talk about. The sacrifice,
Yep.
sacrificing oneself, taught by religion.
Taught by religion. Exactly. Unfortunately, Sophia Hunt, think of it this way. You're a sacrificer. You're going to hold on to other people's pain because you're a loving being. Especially this started when you were really, really young. You carried the burdens of your mom, which is another thing that I want to just quickly, talk about and just remove quickly. It doesn't have to be that like it doesn't have to take decades for you. You're very, say, bright or exponentially intelligent. Even if you're new, you kind of get how frequencies work, so to speak.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
that's true.
Uh,
Yes.
Unlike Beto, and again, Beto is a great guy, but he's got to get into it more. Take a breath in. Um, just out of curiosity, hon, did your mom not want you? It's not that she didn't want you, but
Yeah,
maybe.
I think she didn't want me, but she had to get married because she was pregnant with me. So there was a whole,
Okay.
yeah.
So got it. Take a breath in. So she probably, and it's not that she didn't want you, especially once they have you, right? But a lot of times it's like, shit, now we gotta get
Yeah.
married. You know what I mean? So you get
Yes.
forced. It's like if it wasn't, I wouldn't get married. If it wasn't for, say Sophie, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. So that kind of pattern. So and then there's a lot of guilt and shame around that. So around your birth, which is supposed to be a pure birth, because again, it's an integration. Just think of it. It's an integration of spirit in physical form. That's what a birth is. Okay. And then again, in religions, birth is a messy space. It's sin and it's dirty and all that. I mean, how does that make the babies feel, by the way? In this case, there's a lot of, say, disrespect because mom got pregnant before she was married. So to right the wrong, again, do you see all the burdens in here? To right the
Absolutely.
wrong, they get forced to be married and they might not say be the best couple or they might be too young to have a child and so on. Again, I'm not saying, you should have an abortion or anything like that, but the reason why you get forced to get married. It's like you should well go, shit, we're having a kid, let's try to figure shit out between each other so we can have a strong, say, parental relationship, whether we get married or not. So we raise this child properly. But in this case, it's like, shit, okay, I fucked up, I messed up. Now we get forced to get married, which is a burden or a sacrifice because of that child. That child, like Sophie, carries a hell of a lot of burdens. And again, it's
Yes.
all based on religious, say, ideologies, right? And like Billy was saying, in the womb, there's a shitload of guilt for a lot of
Yes.
women. That's 9 months of like guilt, cellular guilt, and that's their initial environment. So I see a lot of kids, a lot of people like you, Sophie, like carrying the burdens. The key is, hon, you're not just carrying, and this is where religion gets really messed up. Okay, take a breath in, hon. Notice your groin area, hon, your feminine features. So this is where a lot of guilt and shame around women originate from. Okay, you're born from sin. You did something wrong, so to speak. Okay. So those being an identity of a woman, say displaying, say again, displaying that you're pregnant. Obviously, you made a sin and it's physical. So, okay, because that's what religions tell us. It literally is. It's like, oh, you're pregnant, you're too young, you're out of wedlock. Again, it's a public display. It's just like doing a public hanging for those women, right? There's a lot of shame and guilt, by the way. Take a breath in. That child, like Sophia, is carrying the burdens of society and all the eyes that have, say, shamed her. Not just in her mother's experience, but all the previous individuals who had shotgun weddings, who were killed in some cases because they were, pregnant. I think Princess Diana, by the way, she was killed because she was pregnant, with, say, a Middle Eastern individual. All that stuff, all that shame, again, is built around an individual who gets pregnant out of wedlock. That's a lot of guilt. That's a lot of shame that somebody like Sophia is carrying. So take a breath in. Let's take that out of you. And then also let's help your father kind of like separate yourself from your father as well, because in like physical relationships, especially masculine relationships, hon, since you are not of the grade, you always are subservient to a male figure. By the way, does that make sense?
Yeah. Also runs in the family.
Yep. You're always subservient. You're the trash bin for the family. I hate to say it that way, but
No,
I'm
but
just
it's true. Yeah.
yeah, I'm just cleaning all that stuff up, and you don't need to be. You're highly intelligent. You're beautiful. You've got fantastic opportunities, potential for you. You're very, very creative. You can get yourself out of a lot of situations that you've gotten yourself into, which is really, really impressive. Take a breath in. But again, you've got this whole burden of, say, society's values, again, through the religions, that is destroying you. So again, individuals like you listening in, okay, let's just do a mass delete or disconnect of that pattern or frequency. You don't need to do that. Okay. You are of pure brilliance. You're here. You're created by a source, however you define God, but let's just call it pure source. That way we move away from the religions. And again, if you're here, you've been anointed to be here. Your spirit has, say, come into physical form. And that's what you should abide by versus all the bullshit of society. Okay. So are you good with that, Sophia?
Yeah, sounds amazing.
Would that be your new religion, being your best family?
Oh yeah, so yes, it's for a while already.
Okay, perfect. So that's the only concept, or that's the only, say construct of religion that you should follow. Something that makes you your best possible self that you can be. Pure brilliance. Yeah, pure brilliance. That's all it
Sounds
is. Okay?
amazing.
Take a breath in. How you do it doesn't really matter as long as you're always accessing your brilliant self. Okay. In that case, you don't have to have laws and standards about abusing people, killing people, doing all the right and wrong things. Because again, to be your brilliant self, you'd never destroy, control, or abuse individuals. By the way, it's not God's work. Take a breath in. Sophia, notice your spine. Again, notice your feminine parts. Let's bring them back to their purity of femininity, okay, and honoring the female, right? And then also this allows the men, okay, if you're listening in, to understand what masculinity is, unlike Andrew Tate and all those individuals. Again, they're great guys, but very distorted values of masculinity, okay? Breath in again. There you go. Somebody was saying that your soul looks relieved. Sophia, how do you
My head
feel?
is relieved. Yes,
Do you feel relieved? Yeah,
I
because
do
that's all
feel
the
relieved.
burdens. It's like, shit,
Yeah,
how am
yeah, yeah. I feel very soft. I feel very
Yeah.
soft.
Yep.
I feel the feminine softness, and it's really.
Yep.
And before I felt like the doing more.
Exactly. Well, especially, women, they feel the dirtiness and the heaviness of being a woman. It's not,
You
and
make
then
up
how
for
can,
it the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah, how can you, so now you're feeling the softness of being a woman, but that doesn't mean that you're weak and you need security from a masculine individual. This means that that identity of who you are as a woman, as a human experiencing a woman's, being a woman, that identity will be powerful for you, right? Being feminine in your family means being abused and controlled.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely.
That's not the right definition, right?
Yeah.
So take a breath in, hon. Again. A lot of individuals on resonating with you, sweetie. So that's nice. Right. There we go. All right. We'll go to Christine. Powerful frequencies here. Hi, Christine. How are you, hon?
Hi. I'm okay, thanks.
Uh, Anything special you want to work on?
Yeah, it's not really about religion. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
It could be
Okay.
about.
Um, I've I have like I've had recurrent health problems. I've kind of flipped from physical health problems to mental health problems, like almost like something self-destructive within me.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, Christine, if you're always blaming yourself or other people blaming you, that makes sense.
yeah,
Uh, you would start to lose an identity of who you are.
yeah,
So if you're losing an identity of who you are, which is literally one of the main issues on why people have continual health problems, they can never
yeah,
experience clarity. And then as you age, well, you get a little more distorted, and then this is where you start to get mental issues, or so to speak, or
yeah.
distorted or disoriented, like forgetfulness and so on like that, from what I'm seeing. Does that make sense? It's like, gosh, I don't know who I am, or you get confused. However you,
Maybe more forgetful, but yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Mm.
So again, it's is it a physical? I'm not here as a doctor, but is it a physical issue, or is it like, gosh, who is Christine? Although, you're a little bit older,
Mm.
um, and you can say your age if you want. If you don't, that's fine too.
Okay,
Um, but basically, you are at the age that you're at, and you're still wondering who Christine is.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Okay? So you're cycling. So take a breath in. This comes from, say, religious, really, say, strict religious values.
Mm.
Make sense for you?
Not really. Like when I grew up, my dad was an atheist and my mom was a Christian, and so there was this conflict between the two, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay. So take a breath in, hon. So, like I said, let's take a look at it from this value. So you
yeah,
come from really, say, really, really strict religious values. Okay. And
yeah,
let me
yeah.
explain that for you,
Mm,
because the reason why your dad turned atheist, because most atheists are so pissed off at their religions that they go,
mm,
fuck it. I don't
mm.
believe in anything anymore because my life
Yeah,
is fucked up. So you turn atheist. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah,
But because of that, you're going to get the same. So again, all you atheists out there, again, there's nothing wrong with your religion, by the way.
yeah, mm,
Um, the atheist religion, which is a religion. Um,
yeah.
your dad, for example, is so extreme that he does the opposite of what religion is, although he
Okay.
follows the same dogmas of religion. So again,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
very
yeah.
strict. Okay.
Mm,
And then with your mom being Christian and not say a real practicing Christian, but but just enough to mess her up where she feels
mm,
guilty all the time about herself, right?
okay.
They have you, Christine, and it's like, well, shit, where do I go? Do I follow this path or do I follow that path? Get it? So,
Yeah.
And then over time, since you're kind of a go with the flow type person, or
Yeah.
you have you become a wallflower, especially when you're younger, you just
Yeah.
kind of morph into the background. That
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
sense, especially in your teenagers. So
Yeah.
again, you're going, well, who am I? Because the more people around you, Christine, the more you feel lost.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to
Yeah.
you?
That makes complete sense. Yeah.
So take a breath in. So this is where spatial referencing that I help you teach, that I teach you in Human Reset coming up in April, or the old 18 days. Take a breath in. Think of it this way. Close your eyes. Okay. You're with one person. Okay. Just imagine a person next to you. Okay. Basically, what you do is like, oh, I wonder what that person is like. And then you basically adapt yourself to that person's needs because you want to be liked. You're very good at being liked. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
Okay. So now you have two people. Close your eyes, take a breath in, and you guys in the audience can do this as well. Uh, Especially the people that are like extreme empaths. Take a breath in. So now you've got two people, but you want to please both of them. Say like your mom and dad, very different, say on the scale, right? So Christine goes, shit, I'm a little confused. It's like, am I this or that? Okay. Because like, well, who am I? I don't have this identity. Take a breath in and close your eyes. So you're in a group of people, say 10 or 12 people. You have fantastic ability to morph into anybody. You have no identity of yourself, though. So you have a group of 12 people, you have a group of 40 people around you. You, Christine, will want to become all 40 people. That's why group, say, settings are overwhelming for you, because it's
Very. Yeah.
which is like, who am I out of all these? I can't be all 40 of them, especially because they're all different. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
And this creates pain, literally physical pain for you. Your pain or the issues that you've had, physical issues, are basically you withdrawing into your physical body and wanting to stay here. Okay. Pain is a great, say, way of spatial referencing, unfortunately, for those people who don't know, because it keeps you in your body. And that's why you have, say, physical issues that I see. And they're random physical issues from what I'm seeing. That makes sense for you. Yeah. So, but then that doesn't work out. And again, like I said, as you age, take a breath in. What'll happen for you is, well, just that. You start to go, who am I? Because there's all these personalities that you are trying to be. Again, you don't have a specific vessel of who you are. Breath in. There we go. So let's create a oneness for you. Okay. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And then this is where you start to say separate yourself from other people. This is where you take the likes of other people and go, oh, I like that person's concept or how they make up their hair, whatever. I'll take that. So you take little bits and pieces of people, but not their whole identities. And this is where you create like a solid identity for yourself. Did all that make sense for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How are you
Yeah.
feeling?
Really okay.
Good. Do you feel more like whole or more centered?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. We'll just checking. Just give it some time.
Okay.
You're still trying to figure out. You might feel really, really confused in a little bit, but actually
Yeah.
that confusion will lead to clarity for you. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
You're so
Yeah.
welcome. You're so welcome. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Um, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So we'll just take one or two, guys. We'll take one or two um, scans here. So if you want to be scanned, I can't scan you all. Again, kind of running out of time, but I can scan any one of you. This one, Carolyn T. Oh, I'm spinning for you, Carolyn, which is really good because again, you're removing yourself of all the other people that say control you. Powerful scans. Thank you so much. So good. All right. This one, Hannah, I would really appreciate getting scanned on today's topic. So for you, Hannah, you're always trying to be a good person. Even if you're not religious, you're always trying to be a really good person. So that good person frequency is based on say religious tactics or religious values. A lot of times being a good person through religious views actually destroy, and you're not that good of a person. And people go, well, shit, that's bullshit. How can that be? Well, look at all those people who become highly religious. They become, well, they become very, very destructive and very, very hateful. Again, is that a sign of a good person, or the experiences of what a good person? They should be more expansive and more loving. But again, over the process of religion, they become more, say, cynical and maniacal as they age. Again, so definitions of a good person are not what you think it should be. Become exponential intelligent, and you'll see how, especially through the universal power frequencies. By the way, this next one on the universal power frequencies is about Easter. So doing Easter properly, this original form, the way it was meant to be, right? Not the distortions. Let's see. This is KBBK. Can I get a scan, please? Yeah. You're kind of confusing to me, KB, because you feel like a really, really young person, and then you feel like an older person. So that's that identity issue that you might have. It's like, well, who am I? Am I this old individual? Or, oh, that's what's happening. For you, KB, something might have happened to you in your younger days. Say like in your teenage, like 16, 17, there could have been a death, maybe a suicide, or something tragic like that, or maybe a divorce or something like that. And basically it just stopped time for you. Okay. So you got stuck as a, say, 16, 17-year-old reliving, say like you're in your 30s now, right? 30s or 40s or whatever. You're still, say, running this identity of who you are. Right. So again, there's two of you because you can't get over whatever happened in your younger days. So take a breath in. Don't mind, KB. Let's kind of merge the two together. If you've done XI before, and what you're doing is you're finally going, okay, and that could be the case. Basically, it's like, okay, I need to let go or heal this version of who I am. So you can let it go, and then you can grow into a solid, say, single identity, right? One more scan. And again, like this page, guys, subscribe to it. I have a noisy, scattered mind, Graham. Yeah. So for you, Graham, you really have really nice abilities. You're very intuitive. You can literally read people's mind, but that's the problem. You can't decipher what your mind is compared to other people's minds, right? You literally are like a porous, say, surface, and you just absorb everything around you. And then the key is that you can either like stop that, or you can do it that way, or basically you can filter out what's yours and what's not yours. So let's do it that way. Take a breath in, and then again, for those people who are severe empaths, this will help you out. What we'll do is we'll create like a grid system around you. Take a breath in. Notice your head, Graham. So what this means is that other people's thoughts can flow, but before they just flow into you, there's like, it's free. It's like you don't filter anything out. They just flow into you. This is like you have like a security gate around you, right? You have a security gate around you, and basically it's like, hey, can I come in? And then you get to see what their person's thought is. And all the time you would have to say no, okay, to it, because you don't want anybody's thoughts to come in, but you can observe their thoughts outside of your head. That makes sense for you. Okay. Really, really important for you. Take a breath in again. All right. We'll do one more. Ready to receive, Han? You really are ready to jump into something. I see something happening for you, by the way. This is where you might have, say, stepped back in the past. You might have go, no, I'm not good enough. I can't do that. In this case, whatever comes into you, just say yes to it, adventure, and then you'll start to have the faith because that's what XI has gotten into, you'll start to have, say, the faith. Once you jump into it and you go, oh gosh, everything is okay for me, right? And again, that's where you get reconnected and you have, say, confidence in who you are. Okay, this is where your intuition and all that comes up. People wishing me happy birthday. Thanks, guys. It was the first day of spring, 21st. Really fantastic first day of spring, the New Year's for the Islamic community, guys. So it's a great opportunity for us to start fresh, right? It's a new year. Take advantage of any culture, any religion, right? It's a new year for the Islamic New Year. So make it your new year and just start fresh. You have the Chinese New Year, you have the Christian New Year. Hell, you've got 3 New Years to really recreate yourself and start fresh. Why not? Why not take advantage of it all, right? All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Notice what you notice. Join us next week for another intriguing Moss on Sunday on how we can change you and how we can change the world and elevate us to a higher level of consciousness. Peace.